Hi everybody, I'm Bitsy Merriman, and I'm currently doing a little blog for you about how to have a home practice and to find props within your own home so that you can use them in your practice. So first of all, I'm going to be the first to admit to you, I have a better yoga practice when I go to the studio and I take a class. I get to be a student, I get to learn new things, and I can stay in the poses longer than I do at home and not be distracted by my to-do list. Oh, and I also get to connect with others in my community. So now we have to find another way to connect and keep our community connected. So we're trying to find ways to give you an at-home practice or at your office practice so that you can stay connected to our community. So with that being said, here are some benefits to having a home practice. Number one, you can do it anytime you want. Two, you can always carve out 5 to 15 minutes a day. So you don't have to commute, you don't have to change your clothes, and you don't have to worry about fitting in an hour and a half or more. Three, you can choose what type of class you want at that moment, or maybe that you need at that moment. So you have an opportunity to take advantage of a wider span of programming. And four, there's more yoga and meditation available that you can take advantage of while you're at home. A home practice can also help you with your budget. We're here to help you access your class passes, your membership, and to be able to have good ways to keep your practice going at home. So excuse me for using my notes, but I'm one of those people who likes to make sure I stay on track and not get diverted. So first, it's important in a home practice to have a space where you can do yoga and meditation. It doesn't have to be a whole room or a special room, but you might like to consider space that allows you a wall, obviously for legs up the wall and some of those poses. You might want enough space for your yoga mat or a blanket, and obviously you may want some quiet, like don't do it in the middle of your kitchen with 5 kids and 3 dogs running around. So see if you can make a space that you can dedicate to your yoga and meditation practice. If possible, space where the mat and the props can stay out and available, plus they might remind you to practice on a regular basis. If you've got that guest room that's collecting dust, make your guest room your new yoga and meditation room. Secondly, props. Well, as many of you know who've practiced with me, I am the prop junkie. I love them, I love using them, and I highly recommend them. However, props can be expensive, and sometimes they're cumbersome or they take up space. And especially now where we might be watching our pennies, here's some ideas for you that you might be able to do at home easily to have props. So, mats. You don't have to practice on a mat. Early yogis didn't have mats. They used the earth or blankets. So maybe you do yoga outside in your backyard, on a hike. Maybe you use a blanket on the floor. If you use a blanket, just make sure that you feel safe and you're not going to slip, especially if you're doing a vinyasa flow practice. If you prefer a mat but can't afford one, you might be surprised. There's many low-priced options out there, and you could at least get some traction in the near term. You can always upgrade your mat at a later date through a holiday gift request. Some studios and gyms even donate their used mats to students. If you're looking for a quality mat, my 2 current favorites are Jade and Manduka. Gayam also offers a lower price point mat that is pretty good quality for the price. So you can just Google and you can find several articles and reviews on the best yoga mats and why they're the best. Some are better for hot yoga, some are better for travel, so make those choices as you read the reviews. And before you invest, do your research. Ask others what they use and why. Test drive some out when you do go back to the studios. That'll give you an opportunity to get a feel for which ones you like. Now, blankets. The nice thing about this is most of us at home have at least one blanket we can put our hands on. And an old picnic blanket or a deep winter extra cover blanket or that guest blanket that's only used once a year. Shake it out, wash it, and see if it'll work for you. Blankets are great for seated poses, restorative or yin, so it's well worth having on hand. Towels. Old beach towels work as well as a mat, and they also work great as a blanket. So those are wonderful opportunities if you've got those sitting around the house. They can also work in a pinch when you need to have hand towels, for instance, underneath your knees, your thighs, if you're in butterfly, or if you need to keep your knees bent in a pose, you can roll up the hand towels. Another nice option if you're in Shavasana is take your little washcloths and roll them up, put them in your hands, and then you can still have an eye pillow or a washcloth on your eyes. So some nice little tricks and techniques using things that are in your house. Those of you who use essential oils, you can do like we do here at YAM and take those cloths, hand cloths, wet them with cold water, squirt 1 or 2 drops of essential oil and roll them up, squeeze them out, have them in your hands, put it across your eyes or on your face. Nice little treat at home for your Shavasana. Back to props. So straps. For some of our classes, we use straps or belts, as some studios call it. And many of you use that to help you build your strength or to enhance your flexibility. And so straps can be really important. Now, what are some options? Some people have rope in their garage. Nice tool. Go cut a piece of rope and you can use that as your strap. Other people have used men's ties. So all of you who retired and you've got all those ties hanging in your closet, you can tie them together and they make a really nice silk strap. Not a bad deal. You can also use bungee cords. You can use the stretchy cords that you use like to strap stuff down in your car or in your garage. So lots of other options. Oh, the last one I used was my husband's old robe tie. So great strap. Easy to do, plus you can wash it. Another thing that we use is blocks. So these really help you with your pose stability, giving you access to a pose, and sometimes to help you do a pose hold. Some options I've used, so here's some favorites. How many of you have got old dictionaries or thesauruses sitting around your house that you just can't quite throw away yet or donate? They make great blocks. So that's another opportunity that you can use as long as they're even in height. And you can use those and then you feel like you've recycled, reused, and upcycled. Another thing you can use is strong Tupperware containers with lids. Last week I used pots and pans. I'm getting really creative. I feel like I'm playing with my grandkids in the kitchen. But I tell you, those pots and pans worked really well. And you know, if I wasn't cooking, okay, at least I'm using them. You just need to make sure that whatever you're using is bulky and firm enough that it's not going to break if you lean on it. Another thing that's a good option, those of you who've done woodworking or have a salvage yard nearby, is old blocks of wood. Again, they need to be similar heights, but they can make really great blocks. Yoga clothes. Now, my husband has a theory. He thinks I got into yoga so I could have more outfits. Not too far off the mark, but anyway, yoga clothes. The nice thing is we really don't have to have nice, new, pretty, in-style yoga clothes. It's more important that you're comfortable and that you can stretch and you can stick with the practice. So make sure then that you look for your comfy clothes. Here's your excuse to wear your sweats or a comfy outfit as you lounge around at home. Or do yoga in your pajamas. Who cares? Nobody's looking. Well, unless we have you on Zoom on camera. So look for your comfortable clothes. Don't worry about waiting to do yoga until you have the proper attire. And then finally, bolsters. I love bolsters. But I know that in some cases bolsters are expensive, they're hard to get, or it's just not an easy purchase for some of us. The nice thing about doing yoga at home, you have lots of options. You can take a stack of blankets, 2 or 3 blankets stacked firm, and stuff them into a pillowcase, and you have a bolster. If you don't have that many blankets, Do a combination of blankets and those beach towels I talked about earlier. Those make a bolster. You probably have a piece of furniture that's either got couch end pillows or back pillows. Those can be your bolster. So find those opportunities to use them in a creative way, and then you've got a bolster that you can use to practice with until you can afford to treat yourself to a bolster like we use in the studios. There are also available online inflatable bolsters. I used these for some outdoor yoga classes and for my classes at the park, and they were great. They came round, you blew them up, and they came with a kind of more of an outdoor sleeve so that they were manageable outside. So you could look at those online and see if that's something that you want to use. But the truth is, my couch cushions and my bed pillows work really well as a bolster. And finally, there's a couple of other pieces I'll talk about. A foam roller and yoga therapy balls. These are really great to have, and you might want to add them to your wish list or look around the house and see what you have that could suffice for now. But you can use those small handballs or racket balls. You can even use a tennis ball if it's not too mushy. But those are nice to be able to use to do some targeted release of tension. And several of our instructors are probably going to post some of their yoga therapy ball classes that you could be able to participate in. So we'll try to post those as soon as we get something along those lines. A meditation pillow or cushion. So I'm back to blankets, couch cushions, pillows, or bluntly sit in your favorite chair, put your back against it, and you've got your meditation cushion. And bluntly, if you got great weather, now that we've got spring coming, go sit outside, smell the fresh air, and meditate out in nature. Those of you who are using your mat at home and you've now got to clean your mat at home, there are some lovely ones that you can buy or you can make your own. The essential oil companies all have a favorite recipe. One of the ones I use commercially is Josha. It's a great mat wipe, and it comes either in bulk or in little wipes. They also are scented, so they're my favorites for when I travel. And again, if you're going to clean it, deeply clean it, a lot of people just use water and vinegar as a mix. Make sure you do it on a nice sunny day so you can put the mat outside, let it air dry, allow time for the mat to dry because they do take a while, especially depending upon what mat you have and what they're made out of. There's lots of home practice sequences to look for. Many of you can look at us as we start to put things online, and you can ask your teachers for other teachers they study under who have online sequences. So feel free to continue to practice. More importantly, that's what we want to encourage all of you to do, is to look for building your practice. My favorite teachers right now that I'm going back to study with are Sarah Powers, Cindy and Rodney Yee, Bernie Clark, Josh Schummers, Judith Lassiter, and Nancy Nelson. So make sure to carve out the space, the time, your creative props, and just go for it. Even if it's just sitting and breathing for 10 minutes. It's time for you and your health. It's the best gift you can give to yourself. And then you can maybe think about, as you have a wish list of real props that you want, put those on your next birthday wish list or holiday wish list, and let them be a gift that gives you your health and well-being. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back soon.